Alright guys, as you can see, the Bone Necromancer has survived Diablo 4's worst patch yet to date. I made a few changes to the original Bone Spear build to make it more powerful and current with the current, I guess, state of the game right now with everyone being weaker. Tried to figure out how to make the build be more sustainable and deal way more damage, so this way you don't really feel the effects of the patch playing a Necromancer. Now, some of the things that we did, if we go into the skills and abilities, is we actually don't run a basic anymore. In our skill set. Reason why I got rid of this was because I think the basic sucks, and I understand you use it to help synergize with the exposed flesh passive, but I would probably maybe swap out the curse if you're going to go fight Lilith, because if you're having sustain issues, but with this build in Nightmare Dungeons, you will never have sustain issues because I'm going to tell you what the gameplay loop is going to be. Obviously, we're going to max out Bone Spear, we're going to grab Blood Mist, and we're going to get Blood Mist where it leaves corpses. We're going to grab Corpse Explosion, and we're going to upgrade Corpse Explosion to Blighted Corpse Explosion, because as you saw in the gameplay clip, I was able to survive and tank because I popped all those Blighted Corpses, and all those Blighted Corpses are racking up Disobedience, and that's going to cap me at Disobedience. And I know Disobedience got nerfed, but it's still good, and I kind of think you're better off running Disobedience and maybe replacing some of the affixes on gear with something else, like maybe more stats or maybe more like points in a skill. I don't know, still doing more testing to figure out what works, but so far combining Blight Explosion with Disobedience, that synergy is so good. Now we replaced our basic skill with Iron Maiden because Iron Maiden got buffed by the passive Amplify. It used to do 9x, now it does 12x, so this is going to kind of help to offset some of the nerfs Necromancer got, but not really. And then we're going to buff it, we're going to put points to get it into the healing version of it, where we heal for 7% of our maximum life. This is going to be huge. So now we turn Iron Maiden into an ultimate, and like we just keep spamming it forever because it doesn't cost us anything. And it's going to heal us when we curse enemies. And remember, when you curse an enemy, that curse stays on them for the duration of this. So it's 10 seconds they're cursed. They don't have to stay in the ring. Once you curse them for 10 seconds, they have all these debuffs. So it's pretty nice. If you remember, we didn't go to Crepify. We didn't use this because for sustain issues. If sustain was a little bit better on Necromancer, and you didn't have to really use that exposed flesh aspect, I would definitely roll a Decrepify every day of the week. I think it's better than Iron Maiden in my opinion. Obviously, we're gonna get Corpse Tendrils, and we're gonna get the vulnerable version of it. We're gonna come down to the ultimate and get Bone Storm and max it out, and then we're gonna get the Ossified Essence passive. Obviously, if you're playing a bone build or any vice versa version of the class, you pick the according ultimate passive. In terms of gear, we're going to run Deathless Visage. As everyone knows, for the Bone Necro, that's what we're going to run. Chest piece, we are going to run Exploiters. The reason why I love this one, I do have a max roll one, I just haven't put on the gear yet, because the nice thing about this one, in my opinion, is I just like it for that increased damage. Just another way for me to get damage in the build. I know survivability has changed and it's gotten worse. I'd probably run something else to help me survive instead. But for me right now, I like this because I'll use the Butcher as an example. When the Butcher went, when we were fighting the Butcher and he got the Unstoppable version at 30% less health in the dungeons, I just nuked him because of this. Now they did nerf this because this used to be at 50x. And they dropped it down to 40, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, this is what I run. You could run a different defensive chest plate if you wanted to, or you could run anything else really. But for me, this is the perk I would run for sure. We're gonna go for Edge Masters for the gauntlets, because we're gonna basically stay at max mana almost the entire time we're fighting, so we can definitely take advantage of this free 20x damage. Like I said earlier, Disobedience. On the boots, where you're going to be running Explosive Mist. Now, to me, I picked this over running the Critical Strike movement speed buff. Everybody runs that on their Bone Necro. I get that it's nice, but I still feel like Necro is still slow with it, so I'd rather have something that is going to help me with my gameplay loop. And the nice thing is about Explosive Mist is with Explosive Mist, it's going to consume corpses, which is going to increase my damage. If I go over to the skills real quick and I show you that with this passive, it's going to increase my damage. It's going to give me some essence, which, you know, I only put 1 point here because I didn't think the essence gain from it was too much. But I'm going to get some essence, and I'm going to activate Fueled by Death. And then if you go to the Paragon board, I believe it's this passive right here. No, where is it? It is this one, I think. Yeah. Consuming 5 corpses grants 40x increased damage. And obviously, like, as you're playing, you're most likely going to get this to happen the popping the five corpses. So this just helps to kind of keep the flesh eater buff going as much as possible. And also the other reason why we're using it as well is because it also reduces the cooldown of our blood mist. So this is going to help to let us keep blood mist up as much as possible. So we turn blood mist basically into an immune unstoppable skill slash a damage buffing skill slash, you know, kind of defensive buffing too, because it's going to pop all those blight corpses, which is going to trigger disobedience, and it's going to make us more tanky at the end of the day. Obviously on the two-hander we're going to be rocking the splintering gargoyle or splintering aspect, and this is, I think, mandatory for every bone build. I do have a max one, as you guys can see. I'll show you real quick because I do have one. I just haven't slotted on my weapon yet because I'm just trying to wait and see what's gonna happen, and basically we got the Eternal Realm or Seasonal Realm tomorrow, so I don't want to waste it just yet. And then obviously we're gonna do grasping veins on the amulet. I think this is bugged because I had this slotted, it hasn't changed. Because this is supposed to be significantly less, but it's not. But obviously this is going to be the best perk that you want here. For your ring, you're going to want the ossified essence aspect, which is called Serration. This is just going to boost that greater passive that you have for the necromancer. And then we're going to go with exposed flesh, as everybody knows is the best sustaining thing for the class. Some key things I want to point out is you want to make sure that you can get lucky hit chance on your gloves. I actually have almost a max roll lucky hit. I just haven't swapped yet because I don't have a better edge masters, but you want to try to get that lucky hit chance up as much as possible, just so you can proc this as much as possible, because this is where the bulk of your sustain is going to come from. Especially in a boss fight, you need high lucky hit chance to just keep proccing this passive. Now, if you look at the Paragon board, we're just gonna go over the main glyphs that I chose, and I'll explain why. So we're gonna go with Amplify because, again, we're using curses, and this is where I made my Bone Necromancer build better than everyone else's Bone Necromancer build. When I was playing this class, I was trying to figure out a way. Okay, how can I make this version better? Because as I was making the Necromancer, I realized that, okay, I'm kind of blindly following the meta without really trying to follow the meta, if that makes any sense. So it kind of just happened because I think Bone Necro has a very linear path. Like, it's like very like, hey, like if you're gonna use Bone Necro, you have to use X, Y, and Z. I think it's kind of falls in that same category as a pulverized druid or a shred werewolf. You're kind of forced to use certain things, certain skills, so you can't really veer off the beaten path too much. So we're gonna go with Amplify because obviously we want to curse. So now when we curse an enemy, we do 22 times more damage to them with this buff. And then also we are gonna use Essence to increase our critical strike damage when people are not healthy. Again, this is gonna be nuts because usually your first strike does a lot of damage, and they're not healthy for the whole time. If you don't one-shot them, you basically make them below healthy, guaranteed every time. And then now we're gonna go with Exploit. As you guys all know, Exploit is just, every class needs it. Even with after the nerf, it's still a mandatory perk. We're gonna go with Gravekeeper. This is gonna increase our damage for every corpse. Again, we're gonna have corpses everywhere, so this is just free passive damage as we're playing. Next one we're gonna go with is Sacrificial, where we deal 10 times increased damage while we have no active minions. Again, this is a sacrifice build, so we're gonna have no minions in the build. And then the last one we're gonna go for, this is gonna be our 6th glyph, is gonna be I don't know how to pronounce that, but we're gonna get this one, okay? And this one's gonna increase our physical damage by 10 times. Okay, this is gonna be huge. This is what's gonna make my damage even higher. So as you guys could see, I was doing a nightmare dungeon. I think it was 44. Again, not the highest, but these are just some of the new sigils of the new dungeons. I wanted to make sure that I included gameplay from the current state of the game right now. And unfortunately, I don't even have dust to really craft sigils because I spent all of it trying to farm Blind Burrow Run, so I apologize for not having that for you guys. But anyway, guys, that is the build for Season 1. I do have the entire build in the description box down below for you guys with the link. I even went as far to go in every armor slot and put what specific stats you are looking for, so you guys don't waste your time if you can't get some of these things. And like I said, the Paragon's complete, the armor's complete, everything in there is ready for you guys to go. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry that we got such a horrible patch. I appreciate all the love and support on the channel. Thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. I will catch you guys in Season 1. Hopefully on Friday we get some actual good news and not some garbage excuse.